my name's Ian Whiting, and I'm the owner and founder of Titania. I come from a background of being a penetration tester, so I used to be one of the guys that used to go out and test customers' systems, identify weaknesses, and then provide them with detailed information on what I found and how they can go about fixing it. Now I run a company. I'm still a techie at heart, so I still try to do techie things, but I also have a good portion of my time is now spent with managing how the whole company works and managing various other aspects of the whole process that I was never involved in before. But luckily I've got a good team of people that are able to do a lot of those things for me, and I kind of depend on them largely for some of the advice and what we should be doing, and they come to me with I think we should be doing this, yes or no, and I just listen to what they have to say and say, yeah, I think we should do that, or actually I think that's something we should maybe hold off on for a bit. So the technical side of things, that hasn't really changed. So still looking at network infrastructure devices, which is kind of what Titania primarily does. We develop products that analyses firewalls, routers, switches or routers, depending on where you're from. And we try and identify security weaknesses in those and create a report, much like a penetration tester would, that hopefully highlights those weaknesses in plain English so people can understand what the issue is and what we recommend they should be done about it. But we kind of do all of that within a software product rather than it being a human that does the test on a day-to-day basis. It's now a human that creates, does the analytical processes to identify the weaknesses, but then put that into a software routine so that the software is then able to identify the weaknesses. Wow, okay. Well, I could say that it was from watching lots of Hollywood films, but it wasn't. I've always been interested in how things work. I remember back from when I had my first home computer, it wasn't the games that interested me, it was the programming side, and creating something to do a particular task. That was what excited me. So instead of playing the games, I used to type in the programs that used to come with the software. And when I kind of joined the real world and went out into the wide environment, I went out as a network administrator. I wasn't straight into the security industry at all. I managed networks, I answered users' queries, went and fixed printers, did all of those other kind of roles, but at the same time I continued to learn about the infrastructure and the technology that was behind that. And I suppose it was when an opening came up in a penetration testing company, and I had a look, I thought, that sounds really exciting, and maybe I can put all of this information that I now know and have learned out in the real world about how this infrastructure works and how the communication happens across the network to good use, and that's kind of what I did. So I then went from there to following through becoming a Czech team leader, because getting the accreditations in the industry was important when it came to doing the work. A lot of customers required a certain standard of capability with the people that were going out, and they needed the assurance that they had been certified to that standard. So Czech was definitely the way to go at the time. I know that that's now provided through schemes like CREST, where guys go out and perform a CREST test and then get the accreditation through that way. But at the time it was through CSG directly, so it was more taking the real world experience that you learn and then going and performing that in front of some people so they could get an understanding that you were up to a certain level, or if there was something else that you needed to learn. And I think the whole thing just carried on from there. Learning is a key part, and I think excitement as well. If you're excited about the technology and how systems communicate and interact with each other, it's a key component of trying to work out, well, how as a As a hacker, you can try and take that to pieces and make things work the way maybe they weren't designed to work, and allow you to gain some form of access that way. So you definitely have to be enthusiastic. You have to be a keen learner as well, because there's always more to learn, and you'll never know everything. So actually knowing some good people to go and talk to if you get stuck on something, and you can go and pick up the phone and say, hey, I've come across X, obviously without giving away customers' details and stuff. Can you just tell me, what I should be doing, and providing, follow that through. No one's ever going to know everything. You can become an expert in your own little field. A lot of people go down a generic route where they know all of the key techniques, and then when they have to, they use Google and various other resources to kind of look a bit more into certain aspects of it that are applicable to the job that they're currently doing. But I certainly don't think penetration testing or security is one of those 9-to-5 jobs. It's definitely something that you have that spark of interest that means that you're interested in it outside of work. There's a lot of jobs that don't do that, and I think in order to be a really good security specialist, you have to have that interest where it doesn't stop at the 9-to-5, that it is something that you want to, while you're on holiday, have a technical book on the beach and read through it and learn new things even when you're relaxing.